Hello there, and welcome. I want you to think back to just this morning. Maybe you walked into a room and suddenly couldn't remember what you were looking for. Or perhaps you were in the middle of a conversation with a good friend, and that one perfect word, the exact right word you wanted to use, just danced on the tip of your tongue before it vanished into thin air. If any of that sounds familiar, if you've ever felt a little fuzzy, a little less sharp than you used to, like a gentle fog has settled over your thoughts, I want you to know something right now. You are not alone. And this is not just something you have to accept. What you're experiencing is incredibly common, and it has a name. They call it brain fog. It can be frustrating, and maybe even a little scary, but here's the most important thing I will tell you today. It is often manageable, and there are so many practical, simple things we can do about it. That's exactly what we're going to explore together in this video. You know, I think of my friend Mary. She's 68, sharp as a tack her whole life, but she started noticing little things. She'd misplace her keys several times a week, sometimes finding them in the freezer next to the ice cream. She'd be telling a story and lose the thread halfway through. It started to really worry her. She began to withdraw, hesitant to join conversations for fear that she'd lose her train of thought. It felt like she was slowly losing a piece of herself, and that's a frightening feeling. But Mary is a fighter. Instead of resigning herself to it, she decided to make a few small changes. Nothing drastic. She started with a daily 20-minute walk around her neighborhood, not just for her heart, but to clear her head. She also added a handful of walnuts to her morning oatmeal after reading about how good they are for the brain. Within a few weeks, she wasn't just feeling a bit better, she was noticing a real difference. The fog was lifting. She felt more present in her conversations, more engaged. She recently told me, with a sparkle back in her eye, that she'd just finished a complicated mystery novel and had actually kept track of all the suspects until the very end. That's the power of small, consistent steps. Mary's story shows us that while some cognitive change is a natural part of aging, that feeling of persistent mental fog doesn't have to be your new normal. It's often your body's way of sending you a signal. It's like a little check engine light coming on in your car. It doesn't mean the engine is broken beyond repair, it just means it's time to pop the hood and take a look. So many of us have spent our lives taking care of everyone else, our children, our spouses, our parents, our careers. Now, in this wonderful chapter of life, it's finally time to turn some of that care and attention inward. And before we go any further, if Mary's story is resonating with you, if you're on this journey to stay sharp and want more conversations like this, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It truly helps us out and lets you know when we've posted a new video, full of tips and companionship just like this one. Now, to really understand how to clear the fog, we first need to understand what might be causing it. It's rarely just one thing. Often, it's a combination of factors, and the good news is that many of these factors are within our power to influence. It could be something as simple as not sleeping quite as soundly as you used to. Those hours of deep sleep are when your brain does its housekeeping, clearing out metabolic waste and solidifying memories. When we miss out on that, it's no wonder we feel foggy the next day. It could be related to hydration. As we get older, our sense of thirst sometimes diminishes, and we can become dehydrated without even realizing it, and your brain, which is about 75% water, is one of the first parts of the body to feel the effects. Nutrition plays a huge role. Is your brain getting the right building blocks it needs to create neurotransmitters and protect those precious brain cells? And let's not forget about stress and, surprisingly, our social connections. Feeling lonely or chronically stressed can have a very real, physical impact on our brain health. And of course, certain medications can sometimes contribute to that foggy feeling as a side effect. It's always important to talk to your doctor about that. So you see, it's a whole tapestry of causes, which means there are many threads we can gently pull on to help unravel the fog. Now that we have a sense of what we might be dealing with, let's gently transition into the heart of the matter, the practical, everyday things we can start doing to bring back that clarity and keep our minds active and engaged for all the years to come. Think of your brain not as a static object, but as a vibrant, living garden. A garden needs a few key things to thrive: good soil, plenty of water, regular sunlight, and constant care to keep the weeds from taking over. Our minds are very much the same. We need to nourish them, hydrate them, challenge them, and protect them. And the beautiful part is that tending to this garden can be one of the most enjoyable parts of your day. It doesn't have to be a chore. It can be about rediscovering old joys and finding new ones. Let's start with the foundation, what we put on our plates. You've probably heard the saying, "You are what you eat," and that is never more true than when it comes to your brain. The goal isn't to follow some strict, miserable diet. It's about making small, sustainable shifts toward foods that act like premium fuel for your mind. Some of the best brain foods are the colorful ones. Think about deep blueberries and raspberries, vibrant leafy greens like spinach and kale, rich orange sweet potatoes and carrots. These foods are packed with antioxidants, which are like little warriors that fight off oxidative stress, a process that can damage our brain cells over time. Then there are the amazing omega-3 fatty acids, found abundantly in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. These fats are crucial for building and maintaining brain cell membranes. They are the structural fat of your brain. If you're not a fan of fish, walnuts and flax seeds are a wonderful plant-based alternative. And let's not forget about hydration. Water is essential for every single function in your body, and your brain is no exception. Even mild dehydration can impair concentration and short-term memory. A good habit is to keep a glass of water by your side throughout the day and take little sips often. It doesn't have to be plain water all the time. Herbal teas, or even water infused with a few slices of lemon, cucumber, or some mint leaves can make it a more appealing and refreshing choice. Now, let's talk about movement. Physical activity is like a miracle grow for your brain garden. When you get your body moving, your heart pumps more oxygen-rich blood to your head, nourishing those brain cells. But it does something even more remarkable. It encourages the release of chemicals called growth factors. These growth factors are like fertilizer for your brain. They help create new connections between brain cells and even promote the birth of new cells in the hippocampus, the area of the brain vital for memory and learning. And the best part? You don't need to run a marathon or join a high-intensity gym class. The goal is just to move your body consistently in ways that you enjoy. A daily brisk walk around your neighborhood, where you can also say hello to neighbors and enjoy the fresh air, is a perfect start. Gardening is another fantastic activity. It's gentle on the joints but keeps you moving, bending, and reaching. Dancing to your favorite oldies in the living room, doing a water aerobics class at the local community center, or even just following along with a gentle Tai Chi or yoga video on YouTube, it all counts. The key is to find something that brings you joy, so it doesn't feel like a punishment but rather a gift you're giving to yourself. Of course, a garden also needs to be engaged and stimulated. This is where the concept of use it or lose it really comes into play. Our brains have an incredible quality known as neuroplasticity, which is a fancy word for its ability to change and adapt throughout our entire lives. Every time you learn something new, you are forging new neural pathways, strengthening your cognitive reserve. This doesn't mean you have to go back to school and get a degree, unless you want to, of course. It's about finding little ways to challenge your brain in new and engaging ways. If you've always done crossword puzzles, that's wonderful, keep doing them. But maybe try something a little different, like a Sudoku puzzle, which challenges your logical thinking in a new way. Learning a new language is a powerhouse for brain health. You could use an app on a tablet or phone to learn a few phrases of Italian or Spanish, maybe even thinking about a dream vacation. Or perhaps you've always wanted to learn to play a musical instrument. It's never too late to take up the piano or the guitar. Even learning a few simple chords can fire up new networks in your brain. Something as simple as taking a different route on your daily walk, forcing your brain to navigate and pay attention to new landmarks, can provide a valuable workout. The goal is novelty and engagement. Read books on topics you know nothing about. Try a new recipe that requires you to follow several steps. These activities keep your brain on its toes, curious and alive. And we cannot talk about a healthy brain without talking about a well-rested brain. sleep is when the magic happens. It's during deep, restorative sleep that your brain activates its lymphatic system, a natural cleaning process that flushes out toxins and metabolic byproducts that accumulate between brain cells during the day. Think of it as a nightly power wash for your mind. If you're not getting enough quality sleep, those toxins can build up, contributing to that foggy feeling. Improving sleep often starts with creating a calm and consistent routine. Try to go to bed and wake up around the same time each day, even on weekends. Make your bedroom a sanctuary for sleep. Keep it cool, dark, and quiet. Avoid watching stressful news programs or exciting dramas right before bed. Instead, maybe read a physical book under soft light, listen to some calming music, or do a few minutes of gentle stretching. Limiting caffeine in the afternoon and evening can also make a big difference in your ability to fall and stay asleep. Finally, let's talk about a piece of the puzzle that often gets overlooked: our social and emotional well-being. Human beings are social creatures. Meaningful connection is not a luxury, it's a biological need for our brains. Loneliness and social isolation can be significant sources of chronic stress, which elevates cortisol levels in the body. Over time, high cortisol can be damaging to the hippocampus, that memory center we talked about earlier. So, staying socially active is actually a form of brain protection. This, again, can be a joyful pursuit. Make a regular weekly phone call to a childhood friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Join a club, a book club, a gardening club, a birdwatching group. Volunteer your time and wisdom at a local library or school. Having regular, face-to-face conversations where you share stories, laugh, and debate is a complex and wonderful workout for your brain. It requires you to listen, to process information, to empathize, and to respond. It keeps you engaged with the world and reminds you that you are a valued and important part of a community. Managing stress through practices like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or even just spending quiet time in nature can also help calm the mind and lower those cortisol levels, creating a more peaceful environment for your brain to thrive in. But I want to be perfectly clear about something. This isn't just about remembering where you put your keys or finding the right word in a conversation. This is about the foundation of your independence and your joy. If we ignore these signals, if we write off brain fog as just an inevitable part of getting older and do nothing, that fog can slowly thicken. It can start to affect your confidence, your willingness to go out and socialize, your ability to manage your own affairs, and ultimately, your independence. That is the path we want to avoid. But, and this is a big but, if you choose to care for your brain, if you nurture it with good food, movement, challenge, rest, and connection, you are choosing a different path. You are choosing to protect your memories, to preserve your joy, to maintain your clarity, and to safeguard your independence. You are choosing to actively write the next chapter of your life with vitality and purpose. The choice is profoundly important. Now that we've explored these different ways to nurture our minds, from the food we eat to the company we keep, and understood what's at stake, let's bring it all together in a way that feels manageable and inspiring for the days ahead. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want you to take a deep breath with me. In and out. I know we've covered a lot of ground, and it might feel a little overwhelming. If you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this: you have more power over your cognitive health than you might have thought. This isn't about making a complete, overwhelming life overhaul overnight. That's a surefire way to feel discouraged. This is about the power of small, consistent steps. It's about the compound effect of tiny, positive choices made day after day. You don't have to do everything we talked about all at once. In fact, I encourage you not to. Maybe this week, you start with just one thing. Perhaps you decide to add a handful of blueberries to your morning oatmeal. Or you make a point to call a friend you miss instead of just thinking about it. Next week, you might try parking a little farther away from the grocery store entrance to get a few extra steps in. The week after that, you could borrow a book of simple Sudoku puzzles from the library and try one with your morning coffee. This is a journey, not a race. Every single positive choice you make is a vote for a clearer, sharper, more engaged mind. It's about progress, not perfection. Be kind and patient with yourself, just as you would be with a dear friend. Celebrate the small victories. Did you remember where you put your keys today? That's a win. Did you feel a little more alert during your afternoon conversation? That's fantastic. Notice those moments and give yourself credit. I would absolutely love to hear from you. This isn't a one-way street. We are a community here, learning from and supporting each other. So, please, share your own experiences in the comments below. What strategies have you found that help you stay sharp? Maybe you have a favorite brain-healthy recipe you'd like to share, like a delicious walnut and kale salad. Or perhaps you have a tip for getting a better night's sleep. Your wisdom is valuable and could be exactly what someone else in our community needs to hear. Let's start a conversation down there. And if you found this video helpful and would like to join us for more, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe to the channel and click that little bell icon so you don't miss our next chat. Remember, your story isn't over. This chapter of your life is an opportunity to explore, to learn, to connect, and to thrive on your own terms. It's about adding life to your years, not just years to your life. A little brain fog might roll in from time to time, but now you have the tools to help the sun break through again. You have the power to nurture your magnificent mind, to keep it curious, engaged, and clear. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Take good care of yourself, and until next time, I am sending you warm wishes for a vibrant, healthy, and joyful life at every age.